Well, you know, the very first song that the world kind of heard from us was "If We Are the Body." That came from being a youth pastor and growing up in church and kind of always feeling like you really had to have it together. And because we feel like we have to have it together, we get mad sometimes at the world for not having it together. And I call it sin envy. So you know, I'm trying to live right and they're not living right and they need to live right. And I started seeing that as a young believer. And I started seeing it in the way of people and how that affected people. Through the years, you know, all of our songs come from what we're teaching. And what I started seeing the more I traveled and the more time I spent with families is that, man, the world is being painted the wrong picture of who Jesus is. I mean, because Scripture says God is reconciling the world to Himself, but He's doing it through His Son. But as the world tries to put their picture together of who Jesus is, they look at the body of Christ. And I think they know really well what we're against in the church now, but they don't know what we're for. And as a young youth pastor, I started seeing really early on that what connects with people is transparency. Just tear all the plastic off and just call it what it is. And in the middle of any letter, pretty much any letter Paul wrote, he would make his giant points and talk about Jesus being the only way and that you are to live a holy life. But then he would say, but you know what? I was the chief of sinners, a blaspheming enemy of the cross, the worst of the worst. And that, I believe, earns the right a lot of times to speak the truth. I tell my teenagers at least once a month that love earns the right to speak truth. If you barge in with truth, it's just a message and a reminder of who people aren't and what they haven't done right, what they've done wrong. But if you come in with love, love earns the right to speak truth. But when you speak truth in love, truth stays after you leave, right? And to me, that's what this song is trying to say. And I'm saying some pretty hard truths in this song, but I'm also saying it's me. And that is proving my point. You can speak hard truths as long as you're transparent. And you say, always looking around but never looking up. I'm so double-minded. I'm talking about me, but I think people are hearing that going, yeah, I need to do that more. We're still home Sunday through Wednesday with our teenagers.
That's so awesome.
I'm sitting down every week, one-on-one with about 27 students a week, about 400 in the student ministry, and just pouring into families and pouring into teenagers keeps you in the real world.
That's awesome.
And they don't know about awards and trips and any of that stuff. They're taking me. This is like the biggest concert of the whole career, and I've got at least 4 texts that say, "What are you doing? When are you coming back?" It's kind of a big deal. It's like, you need to be here tomorrow. So it's good
awesome
stuff. Keeps you level. I would have never. When we first had someone hear our songs and say, "You should do this more," I thought that was crazy. So everything that's happened on this trip has sort of been an end in itself. You know, Stephen Curtis Chapman sitting down with us and talking about our music. He's talking about possibly doing music, and I'm just going, Stephen Curtis Chapman, right here, you know. So it's all been one of those "this never happens" kind of stories for us. So It's been pretty awesome. Well, you know, I don't think we're saying anything that's not being said. I'm a product of Christian music. It's all I've listened to for probably 20 years, and I don't think we're saying anything different or better than anybody else. But for some reason, you know, God is choosing to let us have the ear of the church right now, and that definitely comes through what you guys do.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys listen to songs. I can't imagine having the job that you guys have.
Right.
Just trying to figure out what songs the church needs to hear. But I think God's blessing through Christian radio. I think Christian radio is the ministry with no walls, because people are just driving around their car and accidentally landing on Jesus, you know, just flipping through and going, whoop, and there it is. And I guess my goal is, if it's going to be our song, we're going to be saying something. If you're going to give me 4 minutes of your life, we're going to get to it. One thing I tell, a lot of times I'll have somebody that's in the band and they're saying, you know, how can we make it to the next level? And I ask them what they're doing. They're like, we're playing in our youth group, we're doing this and this and this. And I'm like, we do that every week,
right,
with our little sound system and our, you know, doing our little thing, and I don't see it as any more or less legitimate than what we're doing tonight. You had to bloom where you're planted, and there is no next level to the local church. So my main message to bands today is plug into the body of Christ. It is the only boat afloat, and that is how God is using and how God is speaking to the world. So you got to get into the church and not just look for a platform, but look for Timothy's to pour your talents into. I think that's huge. And start writing. You know, our adoption journey is all Stephen Curtis Chapman's fault, because we went on the Stephen Curtis Chapman tour, the All Things New tour. That was kind of our first big tour doing anything, and we were just in so over our heads. He invites me to sing a song with him on the stage, so I'm freaking out over that. And every night, I'll you know, it's the same set list, so I come out at the same time to get ready each night, and the song that I'm standing through to get ready for our song together is When Love Takes You In, which is a song about adoption. And he's telling the story of Shoei. He's telling the story of what adoption did in their family, and showing this video of this beautiful little girl. And I think by the 12th night, I thought, all right, I'm in. I cannot say no to this.
Yeah.
So 84 cities of watching the adoption video, and it was us.